So I'm going to go through the AUM live set that I did, and I'm going to break it down track by track, and then I'm going to go back into BeatMaker 3 and illustrate where all of these things came from. Each of these channels, we've got all of the things with loops on, are all a file player, and they are at 90 beats per minute with 16 beats per bar, 16 beats per loop, so that's 4 bars, and each one is a different element that I've obviously rendered out from BeatMaker 3. So let's have a listen to this first one. So as you can see, that's C1, bank, C1. So I just rendered it as what it was called. I didn't call it anything particularly different. That's just the drums within BeatMaker 3. Also, it's worth pointing out that, as you can see, there's an effect on there, which is the Clev Grand DAW cassette. That's what it sounds like without. That's what it sounds like with. Just basically dirties it up a little bit. As you can see, these are the settings that I've got it on. Tape quality and head quality is top notch, metal, not got any noise on. Input and output's exactly the same. I'm not boosting or overriding the signal. Just got the wet mix up, I think it's about 40%. And motor quality is 29%. So it's taking some of the edge off, making those drum sounds a little bit less clean, which I think kind of beds it in with the track a bit more. When we go over to BeatMaker 3 in a moment, you'll see that already on the track there's a selection of other plugins that I've got in there. So before the signal comes into AUM in the first place, I've put it through a fair chain of effects in most cases, but I'll show you that in a moment. A second channel. So this is the bass. Again, file player. This one's just, I actually rendered it out as 16 bars, 16 beats, so I did 2 bars, then I chopped it in half because I liked it a bit more repetitive. You'll see when we go into the BeatMaker session, I had it over 2 progressions. I scrapped the second progression because I just felt like it works better just keeping it more kind of monotonous and solid for that. Now again, I've got quite a range of effects on this, so I'll take all of those off. So first thing I've got on there, I've got a compressor, which is a wood presser, which is just tightening things up. Got the Bleass Sidekick, which I absolutely love. Now on this I've got the ghost kick on. You can see that it's just hitting on the first beat, and you can hear it dropping the bass away, so that when the beat hits, it's not clashing. Now on the kick, as well as the kick on the drum loop, I've also got an additional sub that's hitting as well, and I didn't want that to clash with the bass, which is why it's getting ducked quite nicely there. Nice bit of side chaining. I wanted to give it some more presence though, because it didn't have as much of the mid-range. So I've got Fuzz Plus, you can see the settings there. Not affecting too much of the frequency, so I just wanted to give it a little bit of extra bite. And then to kind of round that off with the filter, I've got the LFO adding that kind of like bouncing sound to it. Again, another one from Bleass, I absolutely love that one. You'll see I've used that a couple of times on the track. So that's the bass. Again, you can see down the bottom here, B1 Model D, so I got that from the Model D, which is on, well, I'm going to say it's on sale. It's free at the moment. So the Moog Model D, if you don't have that, if you haven't already seen that, that's free. Go and grab that, because that's an incredible synth. Okay, on this one, I'm just going to fade this mix down. So on the third channel, it's the Arturia iSEM, the Oberheim SEM, which is, again, an incredible synth. Again, we've got a file player. It's playing 16 beats, so 4 bars. That's what it sounds like. It's quite sort of a haunting pad, you might say. I'll take the effects off. So the first one I've widened the stereo field. So as you can see, a lot. So it's literally 100%. So you can see, take that off and it becomes a lot narrower. So we added that on. This one you won't hear straight away. It doesn't make a massive difference, it just kind of dips the sound a bit. But if you notice on the video, fading it in, it's like a beautiful screeching guitar. And I've got the micro pitch, which is just adding a bit of almost a flanging feel to it. And then down at the bottom, we've got Kosmonaut, which is, it's a slightly altered decay and looper setting. But generally it just means it doesn't stop dead when it drops out. Has that nice bit of decay, which in the track I really liked using. So if we've got this on full, so we've not got that. The screechy guitar, the kind of feel that it has, and you can hear it fading away. And take it back to nothing. So that carries on there as a result of Kosmonaut. So then we've got this next loop, which you can see from the bottom here, it says patterning 2. So I got a loop out of patterning. Again, exactly the same, all of these. This one's 16 beats, so it's a nice 4-bar loop. Now I've got 2 effects on this one. One of them's the modelling delay, which is just adding a little bit of extra panning. Obviously it's adding the delay as well. And again, the LFO on the filter. Filter's doing a little bit. It's taken off the bottom end because I didn't want it to clash. We've got quite a lot going on the bottom end with the bass and obviously the kicks and the sub from the drums. So I've kind of given us a little scoop out in the middle there to have some space for the percussion. So that one sounds like this. So this is how it sounds when it's not running through the effects. Kind of adds a little bit of skittishness, but it makes it sit more centrally. I wanted to kind of close the stereo field a little bit and just have little elements of it kind of dancing about to the side. And then the LFO's adding a little bit of extra movement to it. So next along, we've got the Banky, which is just some percussion notes. So again, it's basically got the same effect straight chain as patterning, but on a different setting. So this one's got, it's actually on a preset, so panoramic on Modley, and LFO's doing slightly different things there. It's a similar area that we've scooped out, you can see there, that's the kind of area that I wanted to define for the percussion. So let's have a listen to that. So that's what it sounds like soloed. So it already has some effects on it, but it stops dead there without Modley. So you can hear what that's doing. And then the last bit, I needed like a vocal element, didn't really have an awful lot to work with. And once again, I defined the kind of the mid to upper end as the area that was kind of safe for that kind of thing. We've only really got the SEM that's inhabiting these frequencies a lot. So I put those kind of things to fill out those. And again, this one's got the panoramic. So you can hear what that sounded like with the extra delays on the Modley. And it's mostly, you can see it's quite an intense on the LFO, sort of rattling away quite nicely. Now, you'll have noticed that I've got all of these going into at the bottom, they're all going into mix bus B, and the drums are going into mix bus A. And then mix bus B's coming in, and that's going out to mix bus A. So it's all getting kind of summed at the end there, which is the channel that I recorded it out of. So that's your master output. The reason for that is because I wanted to use the Sidekick again on all of those elements. A lot less severe this time, similar settings, Ghost, but as you can see the threshold is way less. Or more, depending on your point of view. So it's having less effect. It's still creating a nice bit of space for those kicks, but it's not doing it at the expense of that kind of sucking and breathing sound, which is quite noticeable, but that's one of the reasons why I added the extra LFO on the bass, which kind of makes it a little bit less noticeable, I guess. So let's come out of here and have a look at what we did in the BeatMaker 3. So I'll close that. Okay, so this is bank E. I'm just gonna go through. So we'll start at the beginning. So in this one it's actually the SEM, but we started at bank C1 in AUM, so we'll do that. So you can see quite similar sounding as you expect. I ended up putting those on a separate channel, so they're not actually being used. And that's the sub. Now you can see on the sub the ADSR, the AHDSR. The amplitude envelope is scooped out at the beginning so that it gives that the extra space, so it's not clashing with the kick. Now in terms of the pattern, not the easiest thing to see, but you can see I did 8 bars. They just literally looped. I tried it out to see what it would sound like at different ones. It's pretty simple. So yeah, nothing to write home about there. We've got the bass, so let's have a look on that one. Now, as I said, we got the Model D for that, so we've got the plug-in there. So this is what it sounded like initially. So you can see what that is. I don't know if that's might be a preset, I'm not sure. I tend to start with a preset and then tweak them a little bit, as I guess most people do. So that's the Model D, and then moving along, it's the SEM next. So let's have a look at that one. Now you can hear there's quite a bit of an effect on that one already, so it's worth just having a look. In the audio effects, I've already got quite a few things to kind of dirty the sound up. The Spring Reverb, which I love, on the IVCS3, and then Kosmonaut. Obviously you saw that I've got Kosmonaut again, so it's got 2 layers of Kosmonaut effectively. And then the tape cassette, which is another, I believe that's still free, which is fantastic. Just adds a little bit of extra feel to it, that kind of more damaged, broken feeling. And it's got a bit of a filter on it again to kind of just give me the lower end of it, which I then kind of messed with. I do that quite a bit, where it's effectively like using 2 filters at the same time. And then we've got, obviously, patterning. Again, that's got a couple of effects on there. That looks pretty complex, I'm sure. Kind of bouncing away. The lovely thing about patterning though, I should just stop that. Is the amount of control that it gives you. So I've got an awful lot of stuff going off there, but it gives you the options to change the playback mode. So you've got, for example, you can play forwards, backwards, various different ones. This one is, I've got it triggering just about everything at an almost random level, but it'll trigger each one before it goes on to the next sequence. It means that things stay a lot more agile and kind of less static than it can get sometimes when you're doing it. That's one of the reasons why I really like patterning. Now I appreciate it's kind of ironic, because then what I did was rendered it out as 4 bars and then just looped it, but you know, it is what it is. It just seemed to work for this one. And again, I've got the stereo lag to give it a little bit more stereo feel. It's just slanting over to one side, and then dub filter just to give it a little bit of something extra on the decays. And then the last thing that we've got in here is those percussive elements. So you can see they're quite sparse if you have a look on the... There's really not a lot going on in that pattern. But because I've got the various settings, another audio damage favourite there, again we've got the Spring Reverb. I've got Time Machine, just messing with that, not got any of the noise on and stuff, but all the damage, just to kind of really change the feel and the sound of it. And then the Spring Reverb to really put it in the room. And Kosmonaut again. It's just become my real go-to delay, just for if I want something that's similar to a sort of a space echo, kind of a classic tape echo feel. Just works really nicely. I've got to admit though, I am a delay fiend. I've got quite a few of them. And Replicant's just kind of chopping it around and giving it something interesting. So it means that even though this is quite sparse because of the delays that we've got on there and the various other things, it does exactly what it needs to do, which is kind of fill out that pattern. And that's basically everything. I've not got anything on the main out. Just got all of the different elements. And obviously they combine to bring us back to this. So you can imagine some of these layers have got quite a lot of different effects on them. But just kind of gave it what I felt the track needed. Hope that was useful / of interest. I'm sure there'll be plenty more of these videos. Just thought it might be worthwhile breaking down. A few people seem to be into the idea, so I thought it would be worthwhile breaking down the way that I used it. Now I do have various MIDI controllers and I'll be working through those in the near future. But for this one, literally just used the iPad, just used what I had to hand. So all of the kind of dancing about that occurred on screen, some of the not completely 100%, was just, I'm sliding things in and out manually and kind of going with whatever it is. Thanks a lot for watching.